Just showing a little bit how to understand these lights here when you have a point and shoot film 35mm camera from either 90s, 2000s. So there's two model of camera. One like this one has a top green light and a bottom orange light. I'll show right away in a few minutes another camera which has a single green light, how to use it. Basically the green light, it tells you you are too closer to your object. So that's the first criteria you need to meet. You need to observe, otherwise you shouldn't be taking that picture. So usually these cameras have maybe a minimum distance of 2 feet or 60 centimeters. Sometimes it's a little bit more. Let's just try I'm close to the window now. The green light will blink, which means I'm too close. I need to step a little bit back. And at this moment, it's steady. So the distance at this point is enough. Now, the second criteria, the second thing, once the distance is good, I need to look for the exposure light, the orange light. I think because the camera is just the camera that will show it a little bit like a green light, but it's actually orange. Yeah, we'll see it's orange. Now, what's happening is this light works mainly basically when you put the flash to off. So when you take pictures without flash, you force it to stay off, you should be worrying about this orange light blinking. If it doesn't blink, if it doesn't light at all, it means you are okay to take the picture. Just keep the camera steady, just as always. If you notice the orange light is blinking, it's because, let me just show again. It means at that moment, the camera will take the picture, but the exposure time is going to be longer than one by, usually it's 40-50 seconds. So that means at that point, you really need to keep the camera very, very steady, or preferably on a tripod. So let's just take a test. So I have the window. If I point the camera towards the window, the orange light should not appear. Just step back a little bit. So there's no orange light. Maybe there's like a reflection, but the orange light is off at this point. It means the exposure time is going to be shorter than 1 by 60 or 40 or 50. So no much risk to have a blurry image because I shake the camera a little bit. But if I point it downwards where is less light, you'll notice the orange light will start blinking. It means at this point I really need to keep the camera very, very steady without flash, or the picture will be blurred. But there's a question actually, how do you know how long the exposure time is when you see the light blinking? Because perhaps the orange light will blink, like I said, for longer exposure times than, let's just say, 1 by 40, 1 divided by 40 seconds. But how do you know, is it 1 by 40? Maybe you are just at the limit, so a little bit shake won't cause too much trouble. Or how do you know, maybe you are at 1 by 4, which is a long exposure time, and at that moment the slightest movement will cause a blurry image. So how do you really know how close you are at that limit that would influence the picture if you shake a little bit? The way to find this out is really to find a bright source of light and a more shadow area. So what you need to do is just like I'm doing now. If you see the camera is pointing towards the light, just point it a little bit far away from the light. Let me just take a step back. Again, more far away, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And at the moment you will notice the light, the orange light is blinking, it means you are really at that edge, at 1 by 40 or 1 by 50. So you really need to diminish the light that the camera is reading here with the sensor until the point you see that light blinking. At that moment, you know you are really at the limit. So if you point towards a darker area, it's going to be the exposure time even longer. So that's how you really somehow try to read, am I safe even if it's blinking to keep the camera by hand or not? Am I at that limit of exposure time or not? So this is it. Let me just show a camera with a single green light. This is a second kind of light indicator here on a different camera, point and shoot film. This green light actually will tell you the same functions as those two lights, but it's just a different blinking. Basically, there are three states of this light. The first state, when it's steady on, that means you can take the picture, there's no problems. The second state is going to be blinking slowly, kind of slowly. That means you are too close to your object, so you need to step back. And the third state is blinking quickly. It means you don't have enough light. You really need to keep the camera very, very steady or put it on a tripod. So basically, just like before, you need first to make sure you are enough far away from your object so you don't see that slow blinking. That's the first criteria. Then you move to the second criteria of light, available light. So let's just check the distance first. I'm too close right now. It's going to blink slowly, so I need to step back until I get the light on and constant and steady on. And also when I'm like this, it means the available light is good enough. I'm perhaps at a shooting speed of shorter than 1/40-50, depends on the camera. So even if I move a little bit the camera, there shouldn't be a problem. But let's just try now, because I'm pointing towards the window. I have enough light. If I point downwards, you see the fast blinking. It means at this point my exposure time is going to be slower than 1/50. So at this point, perhaps if I move a little bit the camera when taking the picture, especially when they press the button, the image may be blurred. And again, just like before, you can try point it towards a more bright area to more or less bright area until you see this blinking fast. And that means you notice at this point there's no blinking. It means, and at this direction to a darker area, it's blinking fast. So basically between these two areas, the exposure time is passing from 1/50 to something slower, which is going to be perhaps 1/30. So this is the shift point basically. So if you have steady light here and if you have blinking light here, you know you are about at that limit of 1/50. So you can take the picture without worrying too much, even if it's blinking. Just keep the camera really steady. So that's a little bit of guessing, but you can still take that picture without flash. So right now I'm talking really about without flash. And also one last thing, remember that these cameras can come with a zoom lens, right? So you may have a lens from 38 millimeters to 80 millimeters or 100 millimeters. Remember always that if you extend the zoom, like I did now, that the available, basically the camera will need even more light to take a steady picture. So if I'm retracting right now the lenses and I have enough light at this point, so let's just step a little bit back. So the light, it's good enough. If I extend the zoom, maybe I won't get enough light. I didn't move the camera at all. It's really when it's zooming out, the lenses need more light to take the same picture. So if I zoom back, there will be enough light. If I zoom out, there's not enough light. So keep in mind this thing because it will affect your picture. So when you zoom, these cameras, by the way, have a maximum aperture of, most of them will run between 3.5, 4.2, sometimes 5 point something. That's a slow aperture. So basically with these cameras, even if you use a 200 or a 400 film or 800 film, you'll need to have a good light, like a bright sunny day. If you are indoors, you definitely need to have a lot of light from the ceiling, from your bulbs and stuff like this. Keep in mind that aspect. There are other cameras that are really more expensive with maximum aperture of 2.8. those may do a little bit better. But with this camera, I'll give you an example. If you are on a camera with an aperture of, let's say, 3.6, 3.7, a maximum one, and you fully zoom out to, say, 80 millimeters, and the day is going to be cloudy outside, you may be missing enough light. You may see the blinking green light here, and you need to keep it steady. So that's how, and let's just say you are using a 200 film. Perhaps if you move to a 400 film, the blinking light in a cloudy day with a zoom extended to 80 millimeters and a maximum aperture of 3.5 is going to be just fine. You can still take pictures, but you really need to keep the camera very, very steady by hand. This is it. I hope you find this useful. A little bit long video, sorry about this, but yeah, this is how to use these blinking lights. Thanks.